Welcome to TSU Human Performance Sports Science Podcast, where we dive into the fascinating world of sports science and innovation, right here at Tennessee State University.
We are your hosts,
I'm Neil Monet.
and Franka Sindicic, and today we are taking you on an exciting journey to educate, entertain, and keep you up to date of happenings right here on our campus.
In each episode of TSU HPSS, we'll bring you exclusive interviews with our expert faculty, coaches, student athletes, and our students from our departments who are making stride in this field.
You will gain the insights into the latest training techniques, nutrition strategies, and sports psychology breakthroughs that are now shaping the future of sports performance.
Or while bringing it to you from an HBCU perspective.
Welcome back, everybody, to our HPSS podcast. Today with us, we have a special treat. We have our head and assistant women's basketball coaches, Coach Jaye and Coach Jaye. Welcome to our podcast.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you for having.
What's up, yo? So let's start by some intro. Introduce yourself, talk about you, talk about what you're doing at TSU and how you ended up at TSU. Whoever want to start first.
You can go.
All right, everybody. This is Coach Jaye Nayreau. I am the assistant women's basketball coach here at Tennessee State University. I've been coaching now for 17 years. Going into my fourth season here at Tennessee State. You know how I got here. You know, sometimes, I think reality is stranger than fiction. But Coach Jaye and I met over 20 years ago, and this was always something that was in the works. And so, you know, it didn't matter if it was going to be here, up north, or West Coast. We were going to ultimately end up working together. So, you know, it's a perfect situation in which Tennessee, Nashville has allowed for us to ultimately get together some 17, 18 years later.
It's nice. What about you? Say a little bit about yourself.
I'm Coach Jaye. I'm from Beloit, Wisconsin. I've been coaching basketball over 25, almost 30 years at the college level. I've been coaching for, I think this is my 21st year coaching college. I've coached men's professional overseas as well. I've coached junior high school, coached high school. I've coached AAU. I've coached a little bit of everything.
All right. So yeah, it's been a long journey that you've been through together. So was it always about basketball for both of you?
Nah, I think that's probably about 20% of it.
Yeah.
If that, right?
Yeah. So the relationship always comes first.
Yeah.
You know, and so a natural bond took place, and then you discover, you know, that you have more in common and you're working in the same capacity. So the relationship was organic. Probably, you know, if I even told you the story, yeah, again, more times than not, you wouldn't believe it. But he was, in essence, like a big brother, and took me underneath his wings. And so from there, just a genuine, natural friendship, relationship grew, and then we started talking about basketball. So that became a byproduct of our relationship.
Okay, that is such a nice story, actually.
Man, that is not true. I don't know how he sat up there for 2 minutes. He gave y'all that soliloquy on our relationship. Let me tell you how it really went down. Right? I'm gonna give you the abbreviated version, though. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I told him this part of the story. Right? He thinks he knows what I'm about to say, but I'm about to get him on this one. So we're at St. Louis U, right? So we're working together, relatively new. He came in a little late during that year. I think it was 2004, if I'm not mistaken.
2004.
Yeah, so we're working, and there was another young lady on staff. Her name was Zoe Artis. So Zoe Artis, who actually was the connect that hooked coached Coach Jaye up with SLU at the time, St. Louis University. So to make a long story short, Zoe was in a relationship at the time with a young man who was playing overseas, and Coach Jaye had a crush on Joy.
Well, whatsoever.
So look, I'm a person. I'm big on fun, right? And I have thick skin, got a sense of humor. Sometimes, people like it. Sometimes people don't. But I find out rather early, who can handle it and who can't. So I'm gonna make it short though. So what happened was the young man had came back for Zoe's birthday, and man, he came in literally like a knight in shining armor. He had on these white linen pants. This shirt, it was pressed to death.
Yeah,
he was doing his thing, right? I'm like, he about to propose, right? But in the meantime, I'm looking at my guy over here. He ain't really saying nothing, but he had got Zoe.
Just like now.
Yeah, he had got Zoe a gift as well, but he had got her like some Oreo cookies, right? So when my man left, I'm like, yo, bro, you ain't got a shot. If you think them cookies is matching the knight in shining armor, bro, you ain't got a shot. So I made fun of him for
I'm just going to go ahead and interrupt and say, I hope, Zoe, you never hear this podcast. To anybody who knows me, knows Todd, knows us, this is an unfounded lie. It is fabrication to the fullest. Revisionist history.
They were chocolate chip cookies, not Oreos. My bad. Chocolate chip cookies.
It makes it better.
But I got on him so bad for like 3 days, and he took it. He took it like a champ. I said, you know what? I like this guy. I like this guy. Yeah, I like this guy. He's not too sensitive. I like this guy. Yeah. But no, we've been cool ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been cool ever since 2004. Had a mutual interest in music. Argued all the time, debated all the time, but it was all in good fun. We kind of still do it to this day. So yeah.
And that's so cool. So what would you say that's the most challenging part about being at TSU, about coaching at TSU?
For me, the most challenge, I wouldn't call it a challenge. I mean, the players, they're evolving all the time. I'm a little older, so us old people, we like to say this generation is different, And it is, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the challenging part, if we're going to use that word, is just making sure you understand that things don't remain the same and you have to evolve with the changes. So for me, that's probably the most challenging thing.
That is true. And just like by listening to you, that you have a very good chemistry about the coaching. So do you have the similar coaching philosophy as well? Because you have been working such long years together. So what is your coaching philosophy?
I'll let the philosopher go first.
Okay. We're listening.
I think, for myself individually, being in this role, going back to, challenges, it is, for me, adapting and adjusting. That's always been my core philosophy as an individual and as a professional. So no matter what the situation is, I've lived in 9 different states and have coached at a myriad of schools. So, whether it's in Florida or in Tennessee or in Texas, it is how quickly can you adapt to a situation and adjust to a situation. And so if you take that to the basketball court, or in our office dynamics, it is your relationship with the people you work with and you work for, and the things that need to be done. And with sports, be it tennis, basketball, football, I can be an actor and you can be a reactor, and then you have to adjust to it. And whatever you do, I have to adjust to it. And so constantly, if we put ourselves in that mindset of adapting and adjusting and knowing that nothing is going to stay the same, like Coach was alluding to, you're able to deal with the ups and downs of, whether or not it's one university versus another university. So I lean into adapting and adjusting.
I see. So how do you transfer that philosophy to your players? How do you on the court? How do you show them the way to go?
Again, if we are preachers and teachers of adapting and adjusting, every single time something happens, I have to reinforce, did you do what you were supposed to do? Can you take care of what you're supposed to take care of? You're not going to control every single aspect of everyday life. Some days the ball is going to come off and it's going to feel good every single time. And other days it's not going to feel, quite right. But you have to make that adjustment on the fly, because within our game you got 4 quarters, 10 minutes per. So I say you have 40 minutes to solve a math problem.
Yep.
And deal with what you can deal with in that time frame. And if you invest in the time you're given, you can have little regret in the end of it. Doing the thing doesn't mean you're going to be successful, right? You're doing the thing in the pursuit of success. And so it's teaching that every single time, every drill, every skill, every development, it is re-emphasizing, adapt, adjust, because the defense is going to adapt and adjust, and you have to. It's chess, but on the run.
So the season about to start, or it's already started?
Yeah, we started.
Y'all started the season. So
Well, we played games, but we haven't started playing yet.
then I see it. So y'all would say you're ready for the season, right? Or not? Do you feel ready?
I mean, you stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
That's a fact. That's a fact. What would you say is the thing you're the most proud of from your team, from your players?
I like the fact that they like each other.
Okay.
I do. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I'm also a parent. So I've been around sibling fights and
All the time.
And I have a younger brother, so we grew up, we have a great relationship, but there were some times where we didn't like each other. So, looking at it from a coaching standpoint, being a coach, you want your team to like each other, because if they don't like each other, it's hard for them to play for each other. And those go hand in hand. So for me, that's the thing that makes me most proud at this point.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you got any control about that as a coach? I'm asking also for myself, because I had some type of situation where the kids that I teach tennis, they don't like each other, and they don't want to cooperate, and they don't work. So how do you deal with that?
That's a great question. I do think you have some control, but not as much as you think. I think the control as coaches, it starts with recruiting. Okay. You have to have a checklist, so to speak, of non-negotiables, just in terms of like personality, characteristics, and things like that. So we haven't always got it right. I think it's an inexact science. But at the same time, I think this past spring we've been very intentional on recruiting the types of players that we feel, if they're 13 or 14 in a locker room, that they can actually get along without having the same personality, right? And that's something that's constantly evolving, and it's a process, and you have to actually enjoy it, because you're gonna have some conflict. But conflict, see, the thing with conflict, people think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. Him and I we don't agree on everything. We argue, but it's not personal. It's never personal, and that's the one thing that I try to impart, to the players. And I know you wanted to ask me about the difference between men and women. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I think a lot of times with females, they tend to take things a little bit more personal, in the heat of battle, and it's not personal. So for me, just, making sure that I'm mindful of when they're not getting along, because a lot of times you can be oblivious, and it could be something small, but if you let it fester, 3 weeks later, it becomes a huge problem, and it can destroy your season.
That is true. And you said that you also have to be mindful when you're picking the players to recruit them. So how do you recognize people that are going to fit good in a team? Do you ask them specific questions so you can analyze their characters, or how do you do that? Can you explain it a little bit?
We have a very interesting / effective dynamic when we're recruiting a student athlete. And I think it starts on the phone, right? And it's a formula that I think we developed, but it was organic. It wasn't something that we sat down and talked about. And I'll give you kind of a brief synopsis, right? We identify a player, right? Whether it's myself or Coach Rue or Coach A-Rob, and he'll let me know, and then we'll get the information. He'll brief me on it, and I ask him a series of questions, and I'll be like, all right, give me a shout. So he'll call the recruit, right? Then he'll call me. I got him on. All right, let's go. He'll merge me in, and then literally from the time he merges me in, it's just organic. So it's more of a feel. It's more of a, yes, that feeling above your navel. And over the course of the conversation, I kind of just go wherever the energy takes me, if that makes sense, you know. Yeah, so every conversation is different, right? But the non-negotiables, they know me, like if you can't communicate, I can't talk to you. I just can't. You could be the greatest player in the world, but if you can't communicate and I can't talk to you, don't want you a part of the team, because 90% of basketball, right, revolves around communication.
Right.
And all communication isn't verbal. You got to be able to communicate in other ways, all right? So
My tennis coach always like to say that he rather recruits 8 guys that he want to spend 2 hours in a van with than 8 great guys that just dislike each other and can't communicate between each other. So that's also another good point when you said that you have to communicate. I feel like you're talking about coachable athletes. So I don't know if you probably experienced that before, where one of your athletes thinks that he's better than everybody, and so he can't be coached. He don't want to be coached because he thinks that he already doing so good, so great, and that just in a team sport, that just killed everything, right? That killed the unity of the team. So how do you approach that? You had something to say about recruitment too, right?
Oh no! I mean, he hit it on the head. It's a synergy that we have. That it's just our relationship. It seamlessly goes together. So whenever we talk to recruits, moms, dads, doesn't matter where they're from, we're able to. Everybody has a connector.
Yeah.
And so it's just in the line of questionings that we present to the families. It's been developed over some time, and so we feel, you talk about getting into a pocket or into a zone and just going in that direction. But regarding someone who thinks that they're better than everyone else, or I think as a coach, and even as athletes, you recognize that even the great ones have coaches, right? Be it Federer, Sampras, Venus, Serena, everybody has a coach. And, we were taught a long time ago, education stops when you have all the answers. And the great ones don't think they have all the answers. They still need someone who has the eyes and ears and the ability to decipher and see where they can improve, and so you start from that point with your student athletes, and then, but they have to be accepting of and open to critique as opposed to criticism, and navigating those waters. Somebody might feel that they are better than, but there isn't, we all know, the perfect athlete that has 0 flaws. And even if you are the Michael Jordans or the LeBron James, you still have individual coaches, individual trainers, and coaches to help you along the way. So I think, that's key for anybody who does what we do, is to be able to recognize that as a coach, you're still learning even as you're teaching.
Okay, well, listening to both of you, I assume that I can see and I like your culture of the team. So you mentioned that you started some games. So what is your further preparation for the season? What are you expecting from it? When is the first conference game?
first conference game is December 28th.
How do you get ready for that?
I think it's an everyday process. You know, I don't think you wait till December 27th to get ready for a game December 28th. I think you start preparing the day after the season ended the year before. I think preparation starts then because, you know, we don't prepare for one particular team, right? What we try to do is prepare our team for any situation. So no matter who we play, you know, from a preparation standpoint, you know, we're ready. Doesn't mean we're going to execute, but we always will know what it is we need to do to put ourselves in the best, you know, situation or the best opportunity to be successful. You know, so that starts way before the game, and that's something that I'm real big on. I don't think you should always, scout an opponent. We do because we want our players to know and understand that we've done our homework so that they can have confidence going into a game knowing that we've done our due diligence, which in turn can make them more relaxed and more comfortable. However, we're not preparing for a game. We're preparing for overall success.
Okay, and when you look at the preparations, I know that both of you coached men. So can you tell us what is the difference between coaching the men and the women? How do...
First?
Yep. I know it's maybe...
I get it. Yeah, go ahead.
I get asked that quite a bit, and it's very simple, now. It's very simple. And I tell this all the time. The biggest difference between coaching men and women is men are motivated by playing time. Women are motivated by relationships. When you figure that out, you got a great chance of being successful. And it took me a while. It took me probably 2 years to figure it out, and I got much, much better once I had daughters.
I actually see what are you saying because I'm a part of the women's tennis team. And I do remember when, our history, we really didn't have the team 2 years ago, so we started getting some recruits. And it took us a while to figure what is a team culture. And of course, tennis, as it is team sport, it's also a very individual sport. So we also had players that are thinking we're way better. I should not be practicing with this girl. She's not that good. She's not giving me a good practice. But I always try to talk with my teammates, and you can learn from a player that is not as good, actually how to back down your game and how to adapt to different styles of play. And what I always like to say, if you're the best one in the team, you should be a servant leader.
Absolutely.
You should take that girl by the hand and show her how to improve. And she's going to show you that she wants to work. And you can actually create the relationship that you maybe have to this day. And when they started to accept it, and you said about the arguing and taking things personally, I was like, you don't have to agree on all of the things, but also accepting others' opinion and respecting it. Respecting is a big part of it. And when the girls started to learn that, our team bond just becomes so much better. The practices became way more fun. It was not very, for example, sometimes it was stressful to go to practice because that it's not going to be a good energy, that we're going to be looking at each other, constantly competing, but not in a healthy way.
Right.
But when we started to creating that bond and accept each other in the way we are and help each other to improve, it's where we started to grow as a team. And look at us now, this fall we were the 4th on the national championship, the HBCU. We're expecting to be very good in the conference. So I'm very excited about this season.
Right. Nice.
So also, as I'm more helping with coaching now, I know that we are not applying the same strategy to the guys and the girls. So I wanted to ask you the same question. What is the difference in the strategies for men's and women's basketball? Or is it quite the same?
It's not as much of a difference as most people think. I mean, at the end of the day, basketball is basketball.
Right.
I think where you get in trouble is when you start coaching women basketball players like they're women. Just coach basketball, right? Obviously, there's things that men can do that women can't do. I mean, I don't see too many 6', 10" women with a 45-inch vertical, vertical. So that's different, And I do think you have to focus a lot more on the fundamentals on the women's side because the game is played below the rim. However, if you coach men from a foundation of fundamentals with that athleticism, you're increasing your chances of being successful. So it's not as much of a difference as people think. Like I said before, if you understand the relationship piece with women, they'll run through a wall for you. Right? You can coach them hard.
That is true. And listening to this, I'm actually very happy that you think that way.
Absolutely.
Because we have some women on the team that are they don't like to play the usual women's tennis. So the difference usually...
3 sets.
Not the 3 sets, it's more about the style.
Okay.
So women usually hold the ball in place in the court and just waiting for another's mistakes, while men are serving and volleying, going forward.
Creating.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have several girls that like to do that, and they're strictly forbidden to do that the whole life they were coaching. No, you're a woman, you have to play this style.
No, play tennis.
Exactly, and our head coach came, and he's like, I'm not gonna force you to play what you are not. And we're like, wow, he actually understands us. He wants to adopt our game and teach us our game that we like. And he sat down with every single one of us. He was like, what do you like to do on the court? But be honest with me. If you like to serve and volley, we're going to make it work. If you like to only slice, we're going to make it work. If you just want to keep the ball in play, we're going to make it work. And that is why I really respect our coach, and I really respect your opinion about this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I just like Coach Jaye said, just play the game. Just play the game. That's it.
Everybody wants to, I didn't mean to cut you off, but everybody wants to overcomplicate it. It's a simple game.
Yeah,
right.
play the game.
Coaches make it complex.
They really do.
Yeah, it's a simple game. And I get in trouble sometimes. They probably think I'm too simple, but I have to coach it the way I see it and the way I played it and what I hated to play against. You know, the complicated coaches, they were easy for me to figure out because once you solve the riddle, they had nothing else to go back to.
Yeah.
So if your teaching is based in fundamentals, you always have something to fall back on. Doesn't matter from a schematic standpoint, what do you do? Because the foundation, the fundamentals will always true. And that's anybody can master those if you spend time. But what happens, like in basketball, I'll give you a prime example. No one wants to work on layups, yet everybody misses them. But see, in your mind, oh, it's easy. I don't want to spend my time or waste my time doing something easy. Anybody can do that because it's also from a place of insecurity. You don't want other people to see you working on something that's so simple that everybody thinks that they can do it. But when you watch a women's basketball game, what frustrates you the most? Missed layups.
That is true. That's true.
All right, so coming back to a little bit more academic approach. So I know that you have some players in the HPSS department, and how do you deal with academic and athletic? Like, do you have any conflict with professors that you have to deal with, or maybe I don't know, some type of scheduling that you gotta go around school, if that makes sense?
There are, as far as our schedule, there will always be conflict.
Yeah.
Simply, no matter what sport you play, because of competition. But what we have found here, especially in HPSS, for the recruits that we bring in, Dr. Smith, everybody in this department is willing to help out. And at every turn, it depends on the relationship. Being in close quarters with HPSS and being able to see each of the professors every single day, I think it bodes well for them to say, all right, well, you have a recruit coming in. We'll come in and talk about the breakdown of HPSS and the different degrees in the department. And so that right there has been truly helpful. With academics and athletics from our end and our players, it is you always have the student before the athlete. And you can't be an athlete without the student, and so we reinforce taking care of that first. One has to happen before. You can't just come to college and say, all I want to do is athletics. And that puts you in, a bad box. And so it is reinforcement, and making sure that ultimately the degree that you are seeking, the classes that you're in, you're putting a good foot forward. That doesn't mean we end up with a 4.0 team GPA, but is re-emphasizing and creating a foundation where between the coaches and academic advisors and, just the students, that they know, this is most important. And so, the breakdown is just take care of your classwork, take care of your academics, and then get on the court, and then we take care of business. So
beside basketball, so what does the team do for the community? Do y'all do any community service?
I just told you we ranked number one in community service.
#1 on
what you think
the entire campus. Number one means number one.
But in all seriousness, the report just came out today, and that's something that we set out to do. That was intentional because I'm a big believer in service. I was raised that way. My mom was an evangelist, so I was constantly serving food and doing whatever I could to help people who were less fortunate. So that's something that I take very seriously, and it's not something that I like to highlight, because I think the highest form of giving is anonymous. You're just supposed to do it because that's what you're supposed to do and you feel it in your heart, not to be ranked number one. However, we are ranked number one.
We have some competition here,
Come on, tennis. Y'all behind there.
This is a battle of money.
Nah, that is great. That is great.
I was just wondering, so what would be some of your recommendations for your athletes and maybe the coaches on this campus? What would you tell the world if you can do something to change it?
Recommendations?
Yeah.
It is continue to support each other, continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to serve. It is, you could stay in your own office and isolated, but I think it's great if women's basketball gets out for tennis, tennis gets out for volleyball, volleyball gets out for softball, and just have a true community. Professors as well, coaches as well. I know everyone is busy, but I think just having that connective bond, that would be my recommendation from being at TSU and then anybody going outside of. The world is a better place whenever we are able to see each other, experience each other, connect with each other, and do that on a consistent basis, as opposed to being isolated from one another.
I would just add to that, dare to be different. Don't be afraid to stand out. Sometimes I think, we're so concerned with fitting in that, it affects us just in terms of standing out. What I mean by standing out, a lot of times we have a lot of great ideas, but we die with them. Because we're afraid of what somebody else may say, because it may be against the grain. I think a lot of, and I'm being completely vulnerable when I say this. I've struggled with that in the past, not so much now, but in the past, and that's why I know it's true, because you can see something and want to change it, but because you're so afraid of what everybody else may say, you hold on to that suggestion, and that suggestion can not only change the campus, it can very well change the world. But we die with those thoughts because of what the repercussions may be, because a lot of people that are different, they're criticized, not because they're wrong, because they're not understood. So you can't be worried about what other people may say, because also along with that, a lot of times when you give an opinion or if you give a suggestion, other people have thought it, but they were afraid to say it. So you may even get more support than what you thought just by saying it. But I think a lot of times we just, we're afraid to rock the boat because it's easier just to kind of fit in, as opposed to standing out.
Yeah,
so.
that's very true. I do agree with that. Well, thank you for your words of wisdom at the end.
No doubt.
I've got a couple of questions.
Oh, for us?
Yeah, this is the bonus section. All right, rapid fire. Where are you from?
I'm from Guadeloupe. It's a French Caribbean island. It's part of France, so I can say that I'm from France as well.
All right, Guadeloupe.
Hey, Jay, if I was, I'm supposed to be getting married next month, right? Right. I'm being funny.
I didn't.
I'm being funny. But look, I'm being funny. I'm being funny. I can't wait. I got a beautiful young lady that I'm in love with, and I love, and I can't wait to be married.
Y'all are getting the exclusive.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah. I'm telling, look. When you're in love, you're supposed to tell the whole world, right? That's what I mean by being vulnerable. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that anymore.
We're going to promote this one the most.
Yeah.
Hey, what I was going to say though, if I was single, could I borrow your accent? Right? I bet they be flooding their DM, don't they? You ain't got to put a picture up. You just put audio. Just put audio on there, and they flooding their DM, don't they?
Neil, you speak French? Yeah. All right. So that's when he goes, "We." All right. So you're from Guadeloupe, and you are from?
I'm from Croatia.
Croatia.
It's a small country next to Italy.
Absolutely, we're Croatian.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next question. Why did y'all choose TSU one at a time?
I chose TSU because I always wanted to be in HBCU D1, so that was just a perfect fit for me. I actually didn't choose it. I was chosen by TSU.
Hey.
Because I had a great opportunity because of another my teammate. He graduated already, but because he had this opportunity that led them to me.
Okay.
So basically, that was just perfect fit for me. I had a couple other options, but TSU was just yeah.
Okay. All right.
For me, honestly, I came here because of my friend. So I transferred from Texas A&M Kingsville.
I remember we had this conversation a couple years ago.
Yes, we did. So my roommate and my teammate, Daniela, she's from North Macedonia. So we're kind of sharing the same culture. She's speaking my language. And first time I came to Texas, I had no clue that she's coming. She just texted me in my own language. She was like, hey, what's your K number? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Why is this message in my language? I thought I'm going to US. Like, what is happening? Just like, yeah, I'm a new freshman too. I was so grateful and happy because I was about to move from my family to a whole another continent, very far away. And when we met, we just clicked, probably like you too. And we became like sisters. And when COVID hit, she needed to transfer to some other school. And she got accepted to TSU. And I opted out 1 year. I did online school in Croatia. I was sports psychology major by that time. And whenever I thought that I had to go back to Texas without her, I was devastated. So she's like, yeah, but we're actually looking for people for the team. We're starting up the new team. And I was like, oh, let me talk to the coach. And coach offered me a scholarship. I came here.
Yeah.
And that's how all of this started. I came to HPSS department. I loved it. Great opportunities. I'm very happy here. I'm thrilled that I can help coaching now here. So I'm just enjoying the community, really. Yeah.
Okay. Outside of, I guess, your team, what's your favorite thing about being at TSU? Or what's a favorite memory? It's because y'all are both grads, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Favorite memory. I got so many. I got so many. I would say that maybe winning the HBCU national championship. That's probably one of the biggest one.
Outside of tennis.
Yeah. Outside of tennis, and I would say the location. So I would say downtown. Honestly, the first night.
Using that accent. Down
On Broadway.
on Broadway, using that accent. Yep. The French Broadway connection.
The very first Saturday night I walked downtown, I was like, this can't be true. The whole road was
Feeling.
full of people. I was like, there's no way. And every single building is like another club, and
Yeah.
it's clubs over clubs over. I'm like, that can't be true. So yeah, probably the first time I walk in Broadway.
I'm not surprised.
He's enjoying Nashville. All right. And how about you?
Well, by Neil being a party animal, me on the other side, I honestly love the staff in this school. Staff from our department to ladies in Starbucks to people in the cafeteria to the coaches. Seeing you around here, always smiling, saying hi, asking how we are, wishing somebody a good day, that is just literally everything what I need. Because sometimes it's a rainy day, I'm not feeling well, but then I see you around and they're like, hey, how are you? What's up? And I'm like, hey, I'm great. We do a quick chit chat with anybody on the
That's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And just the whole day becomes brighter.
I can add to that too, because one of the things that I do, because my kids, they no longer live with me, and I'm a girl dad to my core. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
So
I love that because I love my dad. He's like my number one.
I am a girl dad to my core. So in the mornings it's tougher because when I'm leaving out, you see the buses that come pick up the kids, and I'm visualizing my daughter being picked up and she's not there. So, I'm sad. So I come in, and by me saying hi to you guys, it actually makes me feel better. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you're not feeling, your best or the greatest, if you just go out of your way to speak to other people, it's amazing how good it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the energy that interacts between the people. It can really cheer you up.
No question.
Incredible.
No question. I agree.
All right, last question. Y'all are close to graduation from grad school. Now, being foreigners, what is the end goal? Are we going back to Guadalupe? Are we going back to Croatia? Are we staying here in the States? Or
How you know Neil is not leaving Broadway? Neil signed the lease. He signed the lease last month. A 2-year lease.
Neil ain't going back home.
Neil, it's a wrap.
Oh, no. No.
Mama, I'm never coming.
I'm never coming home. Are you just going to be FaceTiming your family for the next 10 years from Broadway? I know she's going back to Croatia.
She did not. Honestly, I want to go back home.
to visit.
To visit.
No, the plan right now would be to do 1 extra year using my OTP. Basically, it's kind of a quick visa, short visa that you can use to work toward your major, right?
yeah.
So I really want to get some experience into strength conditioning.
Okay.
So I'm really doing whatever I can to get as much experience as I can here. And if I can move somewhere warmer, maybe Florida, coach over there for 1 year, and then I hate the cold. And then going home and bring all that experience home and like open my gym over there and also go back. Like, the end plan would be to coach strength conditioning athletes. And open my own gym at home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen.
He will. He's doing a great job.
He's going to end up
He has some good ideas.
Florida.
It'll be on Broadway.
Cold Broadway.
Neil's strength and conditioning on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Hey, that would be fun, actually. Imagine the rooftop gym in Broadway. You'd like to consider that.
Yeah.
Probably not.
The accent is free.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, it's going to be Broadway Body by Neil.
Hey, that's actually great. Hey, I hope nobody steals this idea. You should do it.
Hey, look, we need a percentage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work this out here.
All right.
Okay, me. I have currently 2 pathways that I might take. I mean, it's either or. So one of it is I'm applying for PhD. Doctorate.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm applying for that. It would take me 5 more years probably staying here. I would like to get it here in Nashville. Because I love the city, not because of Broadway, but because of the hiking trails around it.
Also because of Broadway.
And did you see me on Broadway? Okay? You know that I avoid it. And if that doesn't work out, probably gonna go home, join the military, which is always my, I always wanted to be in special forces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I can
Navy
see that.
SEALs here is actually my dream, but I don't have the social security, so that's not the way. But we have something similar called Commando at home, so I would really like to go through that process.
I can see you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can see you doing that.
Thank you.
I've noticed the work ethic.
Yeah, thank you.
I can see you doing that.
Thank you.
No question.
Yeah, but the
G.I. Jane, David Goggins, they got nothing.
oh, I love them. Love them.
They got nothing on you.
Ice bath, holding breath like you always do it. Yeah, push through it. Yeah, but the overall end goal, my mom owns her business. She's kind of physiotherapist, but also doing a lot of aesthetics. My sister's currently started the medical school. She's gonna go for a plastic surgeon. So we would like to take over that business.
Oh, she'll always have a job.
Yes, I mean, I saw my mom working her whole life for her company, creating her business, expanding it, and it would be just a shame for that to throw away.
It's beautiful.
So I have two younger sisters. One of them wants to be a doctor, plastic surgeon, so she's going to take the beauty part, and I would love to create something similar to college here.
Gotcha.
At home, athletes do not have these opportunities. It's either you go pro when you're 12 or you struggle to high school and probably beg somebody to accept you in university in US. So I would like to create something similar like that at home and be able to do exchange of student athletes so they can come overseas and see and maybe get recruited by the European leagues, so
Right,
to be visible. So that is like the end goal. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I wish you both the best, and there's no doubt that both of you will definitely exceed all those goals, and no question, you can tell. Yeah. You got the right disposition, and I'm a believer in energy, so you got nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
Neil, your biggest worry is gonna be how to get those women out of their DM. Audio Neil.
That's why I am making him face of HPSS.
Hey, just don't let him talk.
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you so much. That was a pleasure.
Oh, thank y'all.
No doubt, anytime.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
take care.
All right.